So obviously super pumped. We have an inside look at the highs and lows of Uber through this show. Why do you think this one is a must watch for audiences?
Um, I think Brian and David, who created the show from the book Super Pumped that was written, which I read, and is actually very, very intriguing and fascinating, especially if you're kind of like a blind consumer of Uber. Had no idea what was behind the tap on the screen. Um, uh, it's they break form, they interrogate their subjects really deeply, and the actors are great, and everyone was kind of on fire in their performances. So even in the room, I loved watching them.
Aw. Well, you did a great job as Arianna Huffington. I'm curious, what kind of research did you have to do and preparation did you have to do to kind of nail her accent, her mannerisms? What went into all of that?
Well, I worked with my dialect coach, Timothy Monick, and he helped me, break it up piece by piece. But I listened to her for dozens and dozens of hours, giving interviews, interviewing people, speaking in a prepared way, like a TED talk, the differences between how she sort of responded and how her ideas came across when she was off the cuff versus planning to say something. And I don't know, I find listening to people very, very carefully is one of the only ways I know how to have an intuitive feeling on understanding them.
I love that you say that. Obviously, there's a hair and makeup process that goes into playing a real person. I'm curious, what did that look like? How long did it take? And what was your reaction when you saw yourself as Ariana for the first time?
Um, well, the iconic hairdo, we had to have. And I love a woman who sticks to one hairdo really most of her life. I think that's a character trait. But really what was important to me, obviously she has a lot of signature style, and we wanted to capture that. But what was important to me was really her kind of boldness and her self-confidence, and the sort of hard-won comfort in her own skin that comes across, and her sense of humor. I mean, all great qualities of any woman.
Absolutely. I'm curious, as you were playing the role, doing the research on Ariana, was there anything that kind of surprised you that you learned about her along the way, or maybe about her role in Uber's rise? And how challenging was it to play a real person?
Um, well, it was very challenging, and I almost was afraid to do it because I thought, ooh, I just thought I would fail. I felt a sort of sinking feeling in my stomach that it was going to be impossible. But surprising, I guess, just her brilliance. The more I sort of listened to her, more than even from reading her things, I actually felt like when she presents ideas in a planned way, I think she actually would simplify how she presents her ideas. When you listen to her speaking or responding off the cuff, she's even more complex of a thinker. And that was something that really came across to me.
Interesting. I would not have caught on to that had you not said that. That's very interesting. I want to switch gears a little bit, if you don't mind, and talk about your daughter, Maya. I mean, I'm such a fan of Maya. She's doing so great. Her career is booming. I read that into following your footsteps, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you were a little bit nervous about her entering into acting. Why so?
Oh, I mean, just because it's a complicated career, and one so much public facing often, um and she's a sensitive person, and I think any protective parent would be anxious for their child to sort of become, go into the public arena, not because they want to be in the public arena, but because they're so creative. You just wish they'd find any other way to be creative. But she's in the end such a brilliant actress. Obviously there's nothing else that she would have ever done.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. She's such a star. I'm curious, what made you end up, like, I guess, warming up to the idea of her going into acting? And did you give her any advice about like
Oh,
really
just her
being in the
talent. Her talent was so big. It's what she had to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what advice did you maybe give her about like being in the spotlight? Because obviously being a celebrity, you're under a microscope
I think
almost.
she knew more than me already.
I love that. And then I heard your son might be coming into Stranger Things and joining Maya on that show.
I can't comment on that.
Good. I respect that. Alrighty, awesome. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Uma, thank you so much for your time. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. It was such a
Thank
joy.
you. Bye.